today with another Scrap Your Scraps video. So I have my scrap bin and I have a heart punch from Recollections. This one is 5/8 of an inch or 1.59 centimeters. And while I was watching a show, I punched out a bunch of hearts using my scraps. I might need some more, but figured I didn't want to punch too many and have too many extras. So that's what I'm going to be using for today's Scrap Your Scraps video. I also have 4 photos that I took. 3 with my puppy, Bernie, and then 1 that's a selfie. And I'm going to be using this pink ombre paper, which is just delicious. And it comes from Felicity Jane. So I was playing around with my photos and I sort of like them like this, so I want to keep them together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lift up one at a time and just put a little bit of score tape in the middle, because I do want to tuck some things underneath, and then I can just place it back down where I want it without hopefully moving it too much. And I am just using double-sided score tape that I got from my local craft store. There we go. So just sort of offset them a little bit just to give it a little whimsy. And the reason I didn't adhere them all the way down perfectly was because I really wanted to add in some doilies. So I think what I'm going to do is I grabbed out 3 white doilies. I'm just going to cut them in half and tuck them underneath the photos. And I love doilies. And one of the things that I think works really well is when you use multiple doilies on a page and like overlap them. So that is what I'm gonna do here. I'm just cutting these 3 white doilies, and they're all from different places, and unfortunately I can't remember where I got them, so I can't tell you, but they're just regular old white doilies, and I'm just tucking them into the different edges. So I think I'll stick 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and then 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And then once I decide where I want them, I can just place a little dollop of glue, hot glue, underneath them, just to get them where I want them so they won't move around. There we go, and just a little bit under here too. Okay, there we go. And then I have all of my little tiny hearts, which I just adore. And I basically just punched out a bunch of them from my scraps, and I'm going to use them. And I decided what I wanted to do was have them sort of surrounding the photos, and I want them all to be facing outwards. And I am going to overlap a bunch of them. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start gluing them down, going around, and then overlapping them as I feel necessary. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably just speed you guys up because you don't want to see all that. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I want them to be overlapping from the outside in, I'm going to start by making them go out as far as I want them, and then I can overlap the hearts in. So I think what I'll do is I will speed you guys up for this part so you can see it. So the rest of the video is going to be voiceover and sped up just because this did take a really long time. But while I'm doing that, I just want to say that this layout is called Inspired because I am completely 100% inspired by and enamored by Paige Evans Taylor. And if you don't know her, you need to go check her out because everything she creates is a masterpiece. And this layout is completely inspired by her. She had a layout where she had 4 photos of, I think, her daughter. And then she used butterflies going around in a circle overlapping on top. And they were bigger butterflies. But I thought that that would look so pretty with little tiny hearts. And in the end, it really did. And you can see I sped it up. I even cut out a little bit of it, but I love the way that it looks. And it's not a perfect circle, and it doesn't really matter to me. It just is so beautiful. And I'm not sure if the camera is picking up how like incredible it looks, but I'm just so happy with the way that it turned out. So I guess my encouragement for you today is to maybe like go to your punches, if you have punches or die cuts or whatever, and look for a shape that you want to use. It could be a butterfly, a circle, a square, it could be hearts, it could be triangles, diamonds, whatever it is, and just try to like overlap a bunch of them. And all these different patterns will look so pretty together, and I am so happy with the way that it turned out. So now that the hearts are all done, I'm gonna do some embellishing and adding my layers on top. So I decided to use a couple of the cut apart sticker sheet elements from the Felicity Jane Tuesday kit. So there were these florals and that black polka dot label, and I really love those florals. I wanted to use them. So I am going to use a few of those on the page, and I just feel like the yellow surrounding the page really works really well. Yellow is one of those colors that draws your eye in. It's typically the color that you'll notice first on the layout. So using yellow elements will really help frame your pictures and draw your attention in away from the busy outline. So I'm going to place those flowers in 2 places, I think, maybe 3. I think 2. And I'm just overlapping them a little bit. And those will be like my embellishment clusters. And this is one of the elements from the Felicity Jane kit that I really love, the cut apart sheet, because it comes on sticker paper, which is really awesome. And it works really well. So I decided to create, I think, 3 areas for those yellow flowers. And it worked really well because those 3 points sort of draw your attention straight into the middle and then around the photos of Bernie and I. And this one I just sort of tucked partly under the photo, partly on top, and it worked well. And I'm going to also add some other embellishments from my kit as well. I was trying to decide what kinds of embellishments I wanted to add. The truth is the background is quite busy with all those little hearts, but it actually sort of fades into the background a little bit because the center ends up being a lot simpler. So it worked out well, and I'm happy with the way that it worked out. So after I laid down those hearts that I had cut apart from the cut apart sheet, I wanted to add the title. And on this American Crafts thicker sheet, there was one that said Charmed, which I thought was sort of a cute sentiment for Bernie and I. So I'm going to use those glittery letters, and I just love those stickers, and that's going to be my title for the layout. And I decided to stick them along the left edge. When Paige had done a layout like this, she had put them like straight down in the middle, and that works really well too. I'm going to leave a link below for her layout so you guys can check it out. But I really like how it's sort of off to the side, and it sort of helps to balance the photos and what else is on there. So I don't end up doing a ton of journaling for this page, really. I am going to use a little bit of journaling on the side, but not really that much. So then I grabbed a couple stickers that I think it says Why Hello Dear, and then I grabbed a label that was yellow, and that's where I'm going to add my little bit of journaling, and I'm going to just stick that under the Why Hello Dear. And I'm just going to say like Bernie and I selfies or something like that. basically we were just in the car waiting for my mom, and he was there, and I was just taking selfies. So there's not really anything like crazy to journal about, but I wanted to include it. So then I felt like there was sort of like this empty space under that label, so I wanted to add some things. So I thought about adding this gold heart, and I did stick that there, but I'm going to end up pulling that off and moving it a little bit because it just didn't fill up the space well enough. So I had a couple of these cork hearts left from the C'est La Vie collection. I believe they have like gold flecks in them. So that was bigger, so I decided to stick that. And then I also grabbed 2 other hearts for that place to just sort of create like a heart cluster. And then if you've been watching my videos lately, you know that I'm sort of enamored by rhinestones lately. So I have these clear rhinestones, which I got at the dollar store, and I placed a couple of those in each of the floral clusters. And that's also another element that sort of draws your eye around the page. And then I just grabbed a couple of enamel dots that I had in my stash too. Can't remember where these ones come from. They match the yellow of the flower, so they worked really well too. And that's basically it. The layout is done. So I hope you guys were inspired by today's Scrap Your Scraps video, that you'll pull out your scrap stash and have some fun playing. Maybe be inspired by me or by Paige or somebody else. And I hope that you'll subscribe and so you can get check out the rest of my videos. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye guys!